activity that we're all looking for, and I think you have to constantly push those barriers, like we said the other day. And sometimes that is dangerous, and you just have to go with it. And I have to admit, last night was probably one of the most fearful times I've actually had, especially waiting for that bolt of lightning to actually hit me square in the forehead.
But you know what? Saying that, I was disappointed with it as well at the same time. Sorry.
Well, you weren't in it.
I know I wasn't in it, but it's because what you want from the Tesla machine, if it's creating that much energy with the electricity, you want things to start moving. Do you know what I mean? You want sort of, I don't know, poltergeist activity to occur or objects to move.
Well, again, talking to Brian Shepherd, who was here in the studio, he says that may follow through quite easily into tonight because of all things are awakened and follow people, and that may have already done something to kind of split some kind of link between the two worlds. And great question, Fiona, talking of dangerous activity, tonight is going to be awesome. Tomorrow night, of course, Halloween, I think you guys are going to go further than we ever have before. The most dangerous, most haunted live ever tomorrow night, I suspect, yeah?
Absolutely, and obviously we can't say anything about it, but it's the most dangerous experiment that we have ever tried on television, possibly that's ever been tried on television.
Okay, that's from 8 tomorrow night on Living. Now, of course, people in the audience have been helping us out all through the week, especially by conducting their own solo vigils. We've got somebody now, they don't know who they are, he or she. If you hear our name, please move immediately, either upstairs or down to the middle aisle, and we'll guide you out. Yvette, can you tell us, please, who is tonight's solo vigiler?
The person going off on their own, and I hope it's not in the basement because it's really quite nasty, is Andy Pole from Colville.
Go on, Andy, good luck. I'd like to thank all the people who've taken part in solo vigils this week. We've had some fantastic results and they have been awesome, all of them. Now, of course, you're not just out ghost hunting and bickering and ghost hunting. Sometimes you're other places bickering. And we've got a great show coming up on Living. It's Yvette and Carl once again. And in the little clip I'm going to show you now, which you can see on December the 2nd on Living, you're off to Las Vegas for a very special reason. Let's take a look.
Bright light city, gonna set my soul on fire. Got a whole lot of money that's ready.
We're in Vegas. We get married in a couple of days.
There's 1,000 pretty women waiting out there. They're all
I love your town.
You go too far.
But my dad got Bin Laden.
Viva, viva Las Vegas!
Oh, wow. It is one of my favourite places on the planet, and you're over there to have your vows reconfirmed and an Elvis wedding, Carl. You must have thought you died and gone to Presley heaven.
Well, especially when I realised it was actually Elvis. It was Elvis. It was definitely Elvis there. I mean, you know, we had a séance before we went there, and he turned up, and we did Elvis Presley.
Don't make eye contact with him, Yvette. He might follow you home. The other great thing, of course, about this series is it does show a different side to you, and you get the chance to see you two kind of off duty. Do you ever start doing something and actually say, no, you can't film this, we do not want this on, because it's fairly, how can I put this discreetly, fairly revealing?
Yeah, I think tiredness really. It's kind of like, can we just have a couple of days off because I'm just really tired and I just want to, you know, when you just want to be in your pyjamas and stuff yourself with a load of chocolates and a big...
We've seen that as well though on the show.
Yeah, okay.
We've seen all that.
I think the only thing the guys, we didn't actually ask, but they actually stopped filming was when your dad sadly passed away.
Yes.
When they gave us some time for that, which we didn't even ask for that. The guys, Neil who produced the thing, said, I'm not going to film over this period until you tell it's okay to come back. But the rest of it, it's what we do, it's what we are. We just have fun.
Yeah, you see him get naked on a quad bike. I can't wait for everybody to see that.
It's not.
And there are some good
honest.
bits as well, I understand. It's going to be a great show. That episode is December the 2nd on Living, so make sure you catch that, folks. Now you've got to go off and get ready for tonight's vigil. Serious business there indeed. Thank you so much for joining us. They are fantastic. They are Yvette Fielding and Carl Beattie, ladies and gentlemen. clock is ticking. Still to come, how you can get involved in tonight's programme from your own front room. Also, we're going to take a look at what might be lurking at tonight's location for Yvette Fielding and the team as we uncover another face of evil. More after this.
Did somebody just go, no, no. Oh, what? Did you just touch my foot? No.
Welcome back to Most Haunted Live. We are live from the Winter Gardens Theatre in Morecambe. We are in quest of 8 faces of evil, and the atmosphere tonight is bound to be particularly intense as we head toward tomorrow night's grim finale. Tomorrow night, of course, Halloween. It will be the most dangerous, most haunted live ever. Tonight will also be a spectacular, and you can get involved. Julian Clegg, I understand, already has some of your messages. Julian.
You do, thank you, Paul, and you're already giving us ideas of what may happen tonight. Anika in Nottingham says, I sense Carl is going to get hurt by a spirit tonight during the investigation. Take care, is what she has to say. Thank you for that. And Tony in Bedford says the name James is going to play a big role in tonight's investigation. There's a ship captain called Bell that is linked to him as well. We'll find out, of course, a little bit later on. How can you get in touch? Let me tell you how you do that. You get to your mobile and you text the word screen and then your message and citing to 80889. The text costs 50p plus 1 text message at a standard rate. You must be over 18 to get in touch with the show. And of course, go to the website for the webcams, the interactive map and everything else, mosthauntedlive.net. Now, joining me on stage now at the Winter Gardens in Morecambe, one of the interactive team, delighted to welcome Kirsty here. Hi, Kirsty. Good to see you.
Hi, Julian. Nice to see you too.
And last night was another extraordinary night. In fact, the last 6 nights have been extraordinary.
It's been amazing, and it's quite scary. I think it's getting scarier, so tomorrow's going to be excellent. We've got some stats here for you. So far this week, we've had over 33,000 sightings on the webcam, and I think that might be a record.
I think you might be right.
So
actually.
I'm thinking especially tonight and tomorrow night, we're going to get those numbers up. 3,400 sightings to be precise of figures on the web. We wonder, maybe, you know, the Pendle Witches in there somewhere, because we're having a lot of that coming through.
I noticed that theme last night. Pendle came up quite a few times on the messages.
We've had that an awful lot, and I think we're expecting a lot of that tonight as well. The names William, Emily and Mary, common names, keep coming through, and a mysterious black mist as well keep following the team. And of course there was so much concern last night over, you know, the Faraday experiment there as well.
And I know people were worried about whether was it going to be safe. Would they get electrocuted? The message is no.
Yes, the message is no. Carl's absolutely fine.
And tonight, 8 more webcams.
8 more webcams, and again, it's so important that people get involved in this, because the investigation team really do rely heavily on people at home. If there's anything that they feel the investigation team should know, they can get in touch with us, producer Stu, all the team are there with the computers, we're all set up, ready to go, and of course all those messages will be passed on to the team.
And just to also explain, we had the 4 webcams to start the evening, then we switched them over later.
We switched them over so that we can see, we're constantly monitoring different areas, different parts, and especially when we tend to get a lot more, when we get people emailing in and phoning in saying, you know, we've seen a lot of activity on camera 1, for example, and then we've seen similar responses from various people, then obviously we'll switch to that camera for a longer time.
Kirsty, thank you very much
Thank
indeed.
you.
And more from the team a little bit later on. So do keep in touch, and we'll be looking at those webcams a little bit later on in the show. Now, right the way through this week, we are running a fantastic competition, which includes your chance to be in the audience here. And as you've discovered this week, it's very much an audience show where audience members go out on vigils and so on. So that could be you at the next live event. Now, if you'd like to join us on the next Most Haunted Live event, just for the cost of a 5p phone call, and win some other fabulous prizes. This is how it works. Tonight our prizes include a ghost hunting experience courtesy of our friends at Virgin's Experience Days. You'll take part in an overnight ghost hunt at one of Britain's most haunted locations with experienced paranormal investigators and clairvoyant mediums. You also receive this Samsung Jet mobile phone from Virgin Media. And on top of that, you get a pair of tickets, of course, for the next Most Haunted Live. And everyone who gets involved and rings in goes into a draw to win £1,000. Not bad, eh? Now, if you'd like to win all those prizes, this is how it works. Pick up the phone and dial me now, and here's the question. Which one of these people is not part of the investigation team? Kath Howe, B, Jonathan Ross, or Stuart to Torreville for C. Now, if you think you know the answer, you pick up the phone and call this number, 0844 646 9966. The calls cost just 5p from a BT landline. Mobile and other networks may be considerably higher. The competition is open to UK residents aged 18 or over, and the lines close at 5 o'clock tomorrow evening. And the winner will be selected at random after the close date and contacted